Not that 2021 is promising at this point to be a heck of a lot better, but let's hope. Hope that everybody soon gets vaccinated. And we were just talking before the show that we're hoping that we'll be able to do a normal fair this year as well. But before I go any further, let me introduce everyone who's here today. First of all is Vic Sturp, our president, uh, Jim Mazurek, our technical guru, do tech support, John Shanfield, who's doing the video production today, taking the feed from Google Hangouts to YouTube. And I'm here, Hal Shanfield, fair chairman and general dog's buddy. So, without a whole lot of further ado, let's go right to Vic, because I know he's got some very interesting programs to demo for us today. So, Vic, take it away.
Sure, thanks, Hal. What we have today, bear with me a moment, is some demonstrations that I have recorded off of the YouTube. Bear with me here. And I've recorded these demonstrations, so we'll be running a few here. Okay. But first, what we'll be doing is doing a live demonstration of software off the TI called Still TI. So we're going to go into Rich Extended Basic, call Editor Assembler, D for Directory, Disk 1. And this is off the Still TI disk that I had downloaded from CTIUG. And the first thing we have to do is load the environment that Still 80 runs in. So it's T80XB. Okay, screen says T80XB running. Then we do run, quote, disk 1. Ew. 80, quotation mark. All right, this will take about a minute here for this to run, or for this to load. T80XB appears to be a high resolution 80 column graphics and text display. And some guy who goes by the handle of Pixel Pedant uploaded this on CTIUG, and he's also got some YouTube videos we'll watch too. So he says this takes about a minute to load. There we go. Still loading. It's still loading. It says it takes about a minute or a minute and a half on his YouTube video. He skips this dull part. You haven't lost us. This was a plan. I waited no fear. Huge success. It's hard to overstate my satisfaction. Solid state software. Developed my Texas instruments. Voice right page graphics, sound and synth. It had all been on the case. So there's no sense trying over every weight state. Okay, and as usual, I'm having some equipment trouble here, trying to get the next video queued up. Ah, okay, so guys, bear with me a minute here. Pesky tablet. You know, here I record a video and find out it doesn't play on the device that I recorded it on. I don't know what I got to do here.
What was the name of that program again, Vic?
That's called Still TI, and it's on Atari Age as a download. And the author's name is Pixel Pedant. Pixelpedant.
Cool.
And I'm trying to get this next video queued up.
Well, Vic, it's amazing that you're having technical problems because in all the years we've been doing this, we've never had any before.
No, we haven't.
No, this is a
So-
first for everything.
Here it is. Okay. Let me find the sound cable here. Problem is with HDMI, it expects the audio to be coming in here. And I don't seem to have any volume on this. I have an idea. Maybe I can cheat. Is if I plug in a set of headphones into my tablet, and then I can hold the microphone next to it. There we go. William.
We've got two speech synth solutions on the TI-99, and both of them have a reasonably large line.
All right. Now let's try it.
Hey folks, today I'm interested in asking a pretty simple question, and that is, well, we've got two speech synth solutions on the TI-99, and both of them have a reasonably large library of supporting games. So my question is, who does it better? On the one hand, we've got the TI speech synthesizer, of course, which dates all the way back to the early days of the TI-99-4. And on the other hand, we've got the Milton Bradley MBX, which dates from the final hours of the TI-99-4A as a TI product. Given that timeline, the MBX bringing speech synth to the TI-99 is a bit odd. It was already arguably the platform's most notable feature, and it was widely used in the game library. So why does the TI-99 need this thing? To do a thing it already does, pretty famously. As to that, well, the MBX is ultimately a Milton Bradley gaming console that mutated into a TI-99 peripheral, so its feature set was never going to make much sense. Its features are what they are, and regardless, the decision to hitch a ride on the TI-99 worked out interestingly, so I figured we might as well enjoy them for what they are. I mean,
Excuse
on the
me here.
bright
This
side,
is
more
actually not the
solutions
correct
means
video that
more
I wanted to
options
run.
and more variety.
Although it is a very good
And
one
it lets us ask,
about
who does it better?
this is the one I wanted to run.
Some,
About the
particularly those from Yellow
recently
Magic, affect
released.
the way you perceive the world around you. Scan will get.
And here we go.
Hey, folks. Welcome back to the My Intellectual Energies are wholly devoted to a 40-year-old computer show. Hopefully that's not what I call this video. I mean, you already know what I called this video, but ironically, I don't. So, who knows? Could be anything. Anyway, what are we talking about today? We're talking about TI-99 RPGs and one amazing upcoming RPG in particular, Realms of Antiquity. A game that just might be the best thing to come to the TI-99 4A since TI-99 Dragon Slayer entered my life, saved my marriage, cured cancer, ended world hunger, and restored honor, truth, and justice to the struggle of modern man in the 21st century. I mean, it was really, really good. But that was another year and another video, and as crazy as it is, the TI-99 game development scene in 2020 moves too fast to focus on the last big thing at any given time. There's just too much out there. So let's talk TI-99 RPGs and take a look at what Realms of Antiquity is going to add to the TI-99 RPG library in 2021. As far as that TI-99 RPG library goes, well, RPGs have been an important part of the TI-99 library since pretty much the beginning, with Tunnels of Doom having been an early hit whose popularity has endured, and it's a game a lot of 99ers enjoy coming back to even today as one of the system's classics. But as good a start as that was, later TI-99 RPGs made their own contributions to the genre. Games like Wizard's Lair and Wizard's Revenge, as well as Legends 1 and Legends 2. Those later editions helped fill out the TI-99 RPG library in the years after TI themselves had abandoned the platform. Still, I feel like no game's ever managed to do everything the TI-99 could do with an RPG. It's never had that complete, mature RPG experience that delivers all the things the genre can at its best, which is to say storytelling, characters, quests, combat, spells and magic, world lore and history, all the elements RPGs eventually brought together as time went on and the genre matured. Now, on the one hand, if that next level RPG was missing from the 80s TI-99 library, it's pretty understandable. The RPG genre did a lot of growing up in the years after the heyday of the TI-99. It's not really fair to expect Ultima 4 or Ultima 5 on a TI-99 in 1982. But on the other hand, here we are in the 2020s, and by my watch, it's been a while since the 80s. I won't say how long, since I don't want to alarm anyone. But it's been a while. If you were in your 30s when the TI-99 4A came out, you might be in your 40s, even your 50s now, who knows? So probably we can do better. And ultimately, the reason I'm making this video is that one person has put the work into taking TI-99 RPGs to the next level. That person is Adam Haas, aka Adamantier. Previously, he developed Wizard's Doom as an addition to the Wizard series that I mentioned earlier, but he didn't stop there. For the last decade, he's been working on something even better. That big next step is, of course, Realms of Antiquity, and it's coming soon to a TI-99 near you, hopefully. Won't be long before everyone gets a chance to decide for themselves whether this is in fact the final boss of TI-99 RPGs. But while all the finishing touches get put into place, I'd like to take a look at Realms of Antiquity in its close to finished state. Just how big an event this is for TI-99 RPGers. So, what is Realms of Antiquity? Well, as far as the technical details go, it's a disc-based TI-99 RPG written in assembly, and while it requires the use of game discs, it can also launch from cartridge in the interest of speed and convenience. Which is definitely nice, as launching from cartridge is much, much faster than launching from disc. It also has one more unusual technical requirement. It needs 1 megabyte of Super Asgard memory system, aka SAM's bank switch memory. And that used to be a pretty rare and little used expansion card in the TI-99 community. But happily for Realms of Antiquity and TI-99 RPGers in general, 1 megabyte SAMs is, as of this year, easily available as an affordable pre-built sidecar. So that requirement is now pretty easy to satisfy as the game's release approaches. It's a disc-based RPG, you'll of course need some sort of disk system to accommodate the 3 discs of data. The one folks use most these days being the Tippy, which hosts your TI discs on a connected Raspberry Pi via a sidecar or PEB interface. If you're interested in emulation options, on the other hand, Realms of Antiquity will run fine via Classic 99 and has been tested there extensively. So if you haven't got a Sam's card or sidecar and don't feel like you need one, or you just want the convenience of emulation, you can still play it that way. So that's what Realms of Antiquity is and what you need to play it. But the question I'm more interested in right now is, why should 99ers be excited about Realms of Antiquity as it nears release? What makes this particular TI-99 RPG a game changer? We've had TI-99 RPGs before, as I say, and we even had a good demonstration in recent times of the use of SAMs to make a TI-99 RPG engine reach that next level in Dungeons of Asgard, which was absolutely the first thing I did with my SAM sidecar when it arrived. And it is amazing for its own sake, incidentally, so check it out if you've got the opportunity. But what's so special about Realms of Antiquity? aesthetics for one thing, and that starts with the beautiful intro screen and theme music, which along with the prologue really set the scene and deserve to be heard. So, well, let's hear it. So that's a great invitation into the game world. I mean, just look at those adorable little people off in the distance. And despite the great intro tune, it really is those visual aesthetics rather than its music that are the highlight of the game in the long run. The game really makes the most of half bitmap mode 9918A graphics. In half bitmap mode, the screen is covered with 8x8 tiles, but instead of each 8x8 tile containing up to 2 colors, as in bitmap mode, each 8-pixel subsection of those tiles contains up to 2 colors, which is why those characters can be several colors instead of just one color and a background. And the game's environments aren't just detailed, they're also diverse. Different parts of the world have their own personality, and it's not just one big tile set. You'll begin your game on a hilly path near the village of Alpthorpe, and you can see here the main feature of the landscape is forests, mountains, and fields. But across the sea and the desert oasis of Ispahan, the world's very different. Both the landscape and the architecture of the region set it apart. As far as the sound goes, the game doesn't use sound and music too heavily, and that's an intentional design decision on Adam's part. And personally, I see the appeal in this approach. Over the course of a long session exploring Telanua, I'd rather be listening to music of my choice, rather than a collection of square wave beeps from my system's TMS 9919 on indefinite repeat. So the use of meaningful sound effects when you're hitting an enemy or casting a spell, or what have you, but not much music for music's sake, that does work for me. Back to the graphics. Although the game's generally on an 8x8 grid in travel mode or a 16x16 grid during battle, its graphics don't confine themselves strictly to that grid. Terrain includes larger objects and landforms, and battles include larger monsters and enemies, like these ones. This game doesn't have the problem Wizard's Lair has, where every enemy is a tiny imp because a TI-99 sprite can only be so big. Enemies can also be pretty whimsical at times, like, for example, this is, in fact, my party fighting a door. And here's my party fighting a bookshelf. And here's my party fighting a bed. It all makes sense, I swear. So the game has a sense of fun, and along with the distinctive enemies, the attacks and spells have distinct animations, which gives them character and makes the battle easier to follow. You don't have to wonder if you cast heal on the right character. A shimmering cross just appeared over their head when you did. And heck, even the game text has some graphical flair in Realms of Antiquity, with that cyan illumination on its lower edge. Well, speaking of the text, another thing that makes the game special definitely is its writing, starting with the prologue, in which you're somehow magically transported from the modern world into the world of Telanua. And that opening is a well-worn fantasy trope for sure, but hey, like any other tool, a trope only gets to be well-worn if it works well, like this one does. So, nothing wrong with that. I'll take this and I'll take my amnesia tropes in my RPGs every time. I'll show the whole prologue sequence here, but you'll need to pause if you want to read it all. Worth reading, though, if you're interested in the backstory. As you play the game, dozens of books found on bookshelves across the game world continue developing the game's lore, so you'll have plenty more reading available once you're exploring it. These are often part of a series like Imperial History or Local Tales or Mythological Creatures, but some books are one-offs like The Tomb of Umgazur or The Little People or The Founding, and those are often tied to a particular region or location. So there's lots of lore to be had inside the game, but like many good lore-rich RPGs, Realms of Antiquity will put important parts of that lore in the print materials. The game itself does feature a nice help menu listing game item and state icons inside the game, but we also get a reference card for the icon system, as well as its controls. The instruction manual has a lot of key information about the class system, magic system, skill system, and such. There's a lot to take in, so the manual is essential for explaining the game's systems and how they tie into the world's lore. And finally, a map of Telanua lays out the geography of the world for you, with just enough detail to provide the lay of the land and give you your bearings, without filling in all the fine details. I find I refer to the map a lot during play. It's definitely essential to the Realms of Antiquity experience. Back to the in-game experience. While world lore is nice, of course, the in-game text isn't just world lore for world lore's sake and reading for reading's sake. It's also how you meet the game's cast of characters. Usually, talkative characters have quest objectives to point you towards, but townsfolk are also just happy to welcome you to town or remind you of their troubles, or thank you for helping them. In dialogue with quest NPCs, you can navigate the game's dialogue using a keyword system, where you select the topic you want to talk about, or the action you want to take from a number of options. Characters you encounter even occasionally ask to join you on your quest. Some of them do take convincing, but if you've got common goals or destinations, you can find allies in Telanua along the way. And once you've got a new party member, that character will occasionally have things to say about your travels. Party members will comment on events and people around them, and will even talk to each other. They're not just hired swords, they're also a character in the story. You won't have to rely on picking up hitchhikers to build your party, though, if you don't want to. The game's party creation mechanics can outfit you with a full adventuring band if you prefer that route. And with 9 classes, all with their own niche, you got lots of options. A warlock, for example, is a battlecaster with some limited martial abilities, who can use daggers, axes, maces, staves, and wands, wears cloth armor, and favors violet magic. Race and gender are not options during character creation. Race in the fantasy sense wouldn't really work in the game's context. The protagonist is from Earth, and, presumably not the elf, orc, or kobold part of it. Instead, you get to pick a name and assign stats to your characters to min-max to your heart's content, or make them your own. You'll probably want to refer back to the manual to remind yourself of what's Instead, you get to pick a name and assign stats to your characters to max to your heart's content, or you'll probably want to refer back to the manual to remind yourself of
Okay, I don't know what the squeaking is now here. Well, you get the gist of it. There we go. We're back. Okay, so that was a review of Realms of Antiquity for the TI. Any questions, guys?
I don't know about anybody else, but I had a very difficult time hearing that.
Oh, darn it.
And the picture, I'm not sure how it was for others, but viewing this on my iPad, I couldn't read anything. It was all very difficult to see. I suggest that we do our own review of Realms of Antiquity, if not today, perhaps in the future. That's just me.
No, it's as best as I could do here. I was trying to run a recorded video, and of course, the video player didn't want to play it. I was going like, doggone, how many times do I have to practice with this? And then when I go to do it for real, it doesn't want to cooperate. Anyway, you can go on the YouTube, look up Realms of Antiquity, and you'll probably get Pixel Pedant, that's the guy's handle, get his reviews there, and you can go through it later yourself. I was trying to do a copy of a copy there. What Realms of Antiquity is a 15-year tour de force by Adam Haas. That's how long he's been working on it. And this game is huge. If, like Legends, you could take the world map and make a mosaic out of TI screens the size of your kitchen floor, Realms of Antiquity is more like a world map the size of a football field. It has an incredible amount of detail in it. And when I bought Realms of Antiquity, I saw it advertised. I got it from Arcade Shopper online, and I selected the digital download. And what the digital download is they email you with a zip file. And the zip file has all the discs, graphics, sounds, things like that. The zip file also has an exe program that, hang on, stuff still isn't cooperating with me here. Oh, now it comes through. It's come to my attention that many of you have been swept off into the magical realms of Telangua as of late. And pursuant to your safely exploring and discovering those realms, I come to you today with certain tips and strategies and tactics that may serve you well in your travels there.
But seriously, Realms of Antiquity is now released, and the world at large can enjoy it. And at this point, I've played Realms of Antiquity quite a lot and for quite a while, so I think I've gotten a pretty good grounding on the game and the essentials of how it's played. And that being the case, I'd like to share a few pearls of wisdom with you. I want to give you the information you need. Telangua is a vast and dangerous land, and while I don't want to give away any of its secrets, I do want to give you some tips that'll set you on the right path to exploring those secrets for yourself. For those who've not yet played or considered playing Realms of Antiquity, it is now available for purchase, and the link for that is in the description. But hopefully, if you're a 99er, you've already gotten a hold of the game, as well, if you watch my channel lately, you've certainly heard about it. So let's talk strategy. And let's start with the choices all your other choices are going to depend on, those being the choices you make at party creation. The biggest question here is whether you want to go with a full party. At one end of the spectrum, naturally, you can start the campaign with a single hero who has all the abilities of the other classes, and at the other end of the spectrum, you can build a complete and well-balanced party, an agile, synergistic team, party of 4 right away. Now, you might be inclined to say, well, clearly 4 is better than 1, and, well, to an extent that's going to be the case. However, the appeal of going with something less than 4 is mainly that you'll have space in your party for companions you meet along the way. You can't kick party members out once they've joined. Filled slots are filled forever, even if filled with pre-filled characters. And that being the case, it's worth considering starting without a complete party, so those companions who catch your interest don't get left behind. Anyway, whether you assemble a party from companions you meet along your journey or from characters added during character creation, you'll likely end up with a full party eventually. And with a full party, group order is going to be an important concern, since that order decides your turn order in battle. You probably want your buff caster casting buffs before your fighter who intends to use those buffs attacks. You probably want your healer to bring back a dead character before their turn comes. So, keeping that in mind, you can, and you should, press the O key to reorder your group as needed anytime you're in travel mode. Feel free to change it anytime you find that your turn order in battle just isn't optimal. One more suggestion on building your party: respect the value of an off-caster. Only 2 classes don't use magic at all, namely Fighter and Rogue. Most classes have at least some magical ability, and a skilled archer or swordsman who can also cast a couple heals or buffs or utility spells when needed can be really helpful. So I'm a pretty big fan of the Crusader, Paladin, Ranger, and Bard classes for that reason. A character who's only a caster is going to be pretty inactive pretty often, even if the power of their spells makes up for it in big fights. But a character who's also a caster outside of a perfectly good non-magical combat role can be great. And when it comes to those casters, off-caster or otherwise, make sure you don't neglect your ranged skill. It's how most of your casters are going to attack most of the time. And once you've got wands, those can do a lot of damage. So, having a sling or a bow or a wand to make use of that extra action economy with a ranged attack is important. The town of Ashford, incidentally, has an archer who can train you up to master levels. Regardless, you can't cast spells every round of every battle, so make those rounds count with a few extra volleys from whatever ranged weapon you have. Oh, and one more tip on spell casting. You can cast buffs outside of combat, so absolutely do that. You can load up your party on every buff you need, then enter a major battle already hasted and empowered and mind guarded and whatever it is you need. That's particularly helpful in battles which get crazy quickly. If you use a lot of buffing, it basically gives you a free round. Now, on the topic of action economy, it's worth noting that the game's action economy lets you perform any action, no matter its action cost, as long as you have any action points left. The upshot of that being, it makes sense to perform your most costly actions last, since one action point is still enough to cast a spell. But if you cast it first, it might be the only thing you do. Another important part of battle strategy actually happens outside the battle itself. Who gets to attack first is determined by who gets the jump on who. Enemies will attack first if you move adjacent to them first, giving them an opening to attack. While on the other hand, if they move adjacent to you, you have an opening to attack. So, let enemies move into range of you first so you can be the one to initiate battle. The trick to forcing this is usually just expending an action without moving your character, allowing the enemy to move adjacent to you first. Usually you can do this by walking into a solid object, which expends an action without moving you, and will let the enemy move in range. If there are no solid objects nearby, a goofy way to force this is just to save your game, since this consumes an action without moving your character. And also, it just makes sense to save before battle. So that's a lot of talk about battle. But let's talk about the finer things in life in Telanua too. Like food and gambling. As far as food goes, well, be sure to pack enough of it. And always be sure you've got enough for a long stay. There are some very, very large dungeon areas in this game. Some are just huge, and some you will not be able to leave until you solve them. Plus, you don't always know when you're going to walk into a dungeon. So, you have enough. Food is how you recover your stamina, so buy as much food as you can afford before setting out into the world. So, when danger strikes, you'll be supplied. You do not want to run out while locked in a giant dungeon. And how are you going to afford all that food? Well, gambling is one way. Funny how the finer things in life go together so nicely. It can be a good idea to train up one of your characters in gambling so you can make money off the poor schmucks at the local taverns at the dice table. One place you can learn to be a better gambler and, well, a better thief is the Thieves Guild in Port Boniface. Though you will have to get friendly with the guild first in order to receive that training. If you need any help with that, well, you can consult my second Realms of Antiquity gameplay video, which centers on the quests around Port Boniface. A bit of advice on exploration, which naturally you're going to be doing a lot of. The world of Telanua is, well, filled with secrets, hidden doors and switches and passages and pitfalls and you name it. And in that department, the spell Magic Eye is your best friend. You'll probably first encounter that in the Libram Hiker spellbook, and by giving you a vision of the world around you, including its hidden rooms and passages, it'll show you the way time and time again. Yellow Magic, which also includes the Sense spell, crucially, is your friend in this area, as the magic of light, knowledge, and revelation. As far as discovering what's hidden in the world, taverns are another key tool. Drinking at the inn or tavern, you'll hear local rumors that'll point you in the direction of whatever you need to worry about and whatever people there are worrying about themselves, give you the lay of the land. But there are also important game events which happen during a stay at an inn. So if you ever feel like you're stuck in a quest, well, first of all, talk to folks and see if what they've got to say points you in any directions, but second of all, well, maybe you just need a good night's rest at that inn. Might not end up being a good night's rest at all, but it could be something important. So, those are a few tips on getting your quest going in Telanua. It's a long road to victory in Realms of Antiquity. It's a large world with a lot of mysteries to be solved, many of which you'll have to solve if you wish to complete your quest. As far as I know, only 2 of us have so far, but I hope that many others will join us soon. And I wish you the best of luck. This is Pixel Pedant, and fare thee well, traveler.
Okay, so that's our recorded video presentation. I'll get set up on the camera again. All right, that was our recorded video presentation. Let me set this machine back up into TI mode. Hook the sound back up. Apologize for the poor sound on the first video. I finally found an audio cable to run it in direct for the second one. Realms of Antiquity, like I said, I got mine from Arcade Shopper, and it was a digital download. It came as one zip file to my PC as an email. Unpacking it on the PC turned into several files, one of which is an exe file. And clicking on that, it automatically ran the let me get my words correct here, the emulator that it runs in on a PC with no extra effort. I didn't have to set anything up or tell it to do something particular. So I was able to play it right off the bat on a PC. The reason why this might seem sort of important is because this game is so big that you need the 1 meg SAMS card to run it on the TI. And so, like I said, this is quite a accomplishment for Adam Haas that he's been able to write a game this big and this rich. As Pixel Pedant showed on previous games, that sometimes the graphics are a little simplistic, or you have to window from one screen to another to see what you're doing. He had mentioned the famous Legends game in Don Ganros' Old Dark Caves, where you got to explore quite a labyrinthine cavern system that was quite a test of your graph and mapping abilities. Guys, any questions?
Looks pretty complicated. Have you tried to run it, Victor, on the TI yet?
No, I do not have a SAMS card, at least not yet at this point. However, this is a good incentive to get one. So you can run it on the real steel, which is, I'm a big fan of. I've never run an emulator before, and but that's what I'm limited to doing. I'm playing this one. Again, Pixel Pedant has quite a few YouTube videos. One, it seems like on each game cartridge a TI ever made. He does a nice professional review of the cartridge and its pluses and minuses. And in this, he's got a few more videos on Realms of Antiquity, but spoiler alert, he does tend to help you quite a bit. And I'm not that skillful at these games at trying to deduce everything right off the bat. So I could use a little help like he has.
I don't know who it is. I don't know what his real name is, but I do know he must be from Canada.
Mm-hmm.
The moose is loose about the house. The hoose.
Yeah, he has a real nice setup. Well, getting back to the TI environment here, let's see what I got. There we go. Okay, switching from camera to TI. Okay, the first program we ran was the Still 80, and or Still TI, and I got this one down from Atari Age. And what I'm rather puzzled about is the T80XB seems to run 80 column graphics and text just fine on the F18. And I've been waiting to see something like this for years. Ever since my TI Image Maker failed, I got the F18. The F18 does its stated purpose perfectly. It lets you see a TI screen on a VGA monitor, real sharp, with no blurring or color banding or stuff like that. So if anybody knows anything more about T80XB, please try to get in contact with me on this and let us know what's going on. Our next program here. Okay. On the Italian user group, they had posted a whole bunch of Imagic software games. Or no, not Imagic, Intrigue software games. And this is a basic only game. And look at that size. If we try to run this, we'll get an error. Or it just won't run. But we have to do a call files first to free up memory from the console, because the console tries to reserve memory for a certain number of files. And if you try to run a big basic program in extended basic, it just won't run. Oh, this too. We'll try to pick it up now. So let me get my notes here so I know how to play it. All these Intrigue software programs, I recommend that you write down what the keys are to control it. They all seem to be different. Here we go. Santa and the Goblins, copyright 1983, Intrigue software. Get my notes here. Here we go. Okay, so here this shows you a pretty much typical TI type adventure screen where you're in a room. I guess you're Santa there in the foreground, and that's a goblin there in the background. Your motions are north, south, east, and west, which seem to be the actual letter keys. Not you press N for straight ahead, south for backing up towards you, east and west. Rather than the ESDX keys, you actually use NSEW. And so you have pies in reserve. There's elvins in the pantry, and a fat goblin threatens. So you have to do the two-word command on like throw a pie at the goblin or something like that. Let me go through my list here. So I did a list of the program. Yeah, I know this is cheating, but I get frustrated trying to go through these programs and trying to figure out just what it is you have to do, which words are accepted. Yeah, I know some of you might be aghast at the thought of actually peeking at the program, that this is all the setup graphics, stuff like that. But then if we scroll down far enough, we'll actually get to the words that are used in the program itself. And that, for me, I wrote those down, and that saves me a lot of guesswork. Okay, so here in the middle of the screen, line 5020, print, colon, quotation mark, pies. Okay, so pies is something that the computer would say. Then it says Elvin appears, then 50-50, Elvin's in the, and then it branches to another part of the program. But here's more responses the program will give you. 50-52, you feel weak. 50-54, the goblin threatens. Then it branches depending on your answers and such. Uh, 6900, print incorrect statement. I seem to be getting that a lot. Like I said, I'm not this good at the games, so I'd like to write down what the commands are. So impossible, it's not here, you haven't got it, nothing happens. So we'll try running it again here. In a lot of these games, I found there's worlds involved that I never thought of. So I think I have 3 of the Intrigue software games that were listed up on the Italian Facebook page. Italian 99ers Facebook page, and for downloads and such. So this takes you back to 1983 and having some fun. Okay, so here's that room that starts up. So you have words like pies, Elvin, okay, it's not here, you haven't got it, nothing happens. A magic potion, the lamp, you find nothing, no exit, thanks. I just try to figure out, oh, here. I think you have to go lowercase. There we go. So here, if I want to go east, there's no exit to the east. So we'll try W, west. Ah, there was a doorway there. We've apparently gone through the doorway. Then there must be a dragon in there. Ah, we're in the servant's room. So again, this is another one. You should probably take your graph paper out and start mapping out all these different locations where you are and what you can do. So there looks like there's a goblin there. Try to go north here. The goblin steals the pies and runs off. Okay. So that's just a taste of Santa's adventures. I probably shouldn't play too much of it because he'll take the fun away from you. There's another one called Adventure Mania. Let me see what disc this is on. Adventure Mania is on disc 1157. So here we are getting RXP. So we'll remove the disc from slot number 2 on the Nano. We'll put disk 1157 in there. Call EA, do a directory, disk 2. Here we go, Adventure Mania. Now, as you can see on this one, this has 49 sectors. So I think, again, we have to do a call files 1, but I'll just try to load it directly. Or we already had done a call files 1. I tried loading these from BASIC, and I don't think I was able to. I was going like, gee, if I got disk drive hooked up, it has that much overhead, a bit of a catch-22. So again, Intrigue Software presents Adventure Mania. Press any key to begin. This one's sort of interesting because instead of taking you in a fantasy land or America, you appear to be in England. Because notice the money you have, they say capital, and they have the pound sign there at the top of the square. Energy, you have a bar all the way across, you have plenty of energy. Your location is Trafalgar Square. Like, oh, okay. You know, even I know that's in England, and that picture there appears to be a drawing of Lord Nelson's column with the statue of him at the top. So in this one, you can see binoculars, food, and a security man. Your directions, of course, again, are north, south, west, east. You can do a yes, no, so you can take. Oops, again, we're in uppercase, got to go in lowercase. We'll try taking the food. Not understood. Well, So let's just try the first 3 letters. Some of these parsers only take the first 3 letters anyway.
Get food, maybe?
Well, try that, of course. Yeah, most of these parsers, they only read the first 3 letters of whatever you type in because the author has carefully written the program. So no command words share the same first 3 letters. So again, here's another one. This looks interesting because it has a thing like exit. It's got a computer in there. It's got a computer cartridge. You have a mission. It has various different keys. It has a casino. It just sounds like a very fun game, except I can't get past these commands on figuring out just how to do it at the beginning.
Eat food, maybe?
Well, plus you've got the binoculars and you got the security guard. So it's like, well, do you take the binoculars? And these are all words I found in the program itself. Take, drop, pick up, things like that. And I just can't seem to make heads or tails out of this one as to what it is I'm supposed to do. Well, fortunately, there's arcade games, so we can always fall back on that. Oh, got to go to caps. And we're on location 1153. Let's get our disk directory up here. Okay, so this is Fruity XB. And you know what? I think I'm going to a load program that big. It must set it up. Let me put this disk in drive 1. Because the load program usually tries to set up an environment for something else to run in. Call EA RXB and tell it to load a program off of disk 1 load. Something is working. The light on the compact flash is blinking. Okay, Fruity. And here again, I recommend you write down the keys you use, although this one's simple. Now, if you go players 1 or 2, I'm going to do player 1. Player name. Okay, 3, select keys. All right, this one's nice. It gives you a default on what key do you want to use to move left. So I'll just select the default, right? And drop. I'm going to go with spacebar. And then we'll go with 6, start the games. So now you got the now you got this grid of you've got fruit up at the top, and when you drop the not the fruit, but you drop those people from the top, they collect fruit, and they will encounter left arrows, right arrows, and they will encounter baskets that hold them. So there's a little strategy involved here. Is you want it to drop all the way through to collect as much fruit as possible. So I will move my guy one square to the left, and I'll press the space bar to drop. Okay, the one that was real quick was your opponent, in this case, the computer. So the strategy involved here is trying to pick up as much as you can. And my score is there on the left. I got 920, and the TI has 1280. That's about par, I guess. Okay, it looks like that last one I did, it got boxed in by the arrows. And again, it got boxed in. So this is a nice strategy game. It only goes as fast as you push the button. Okay, I'm going to try something here on the far right of the screen. It has an arrow going to the right. I wonder if that just drops you off in outer space or if you'll show up on the left. It stops. Okay, so the game field's finite. If the right side onto the left, if there's nowhere, stops. However, I think I can go off the right myself and appear on the back. So we're starting to run out of moves here. I'll just go through stuff sequentially. Now, when there are no more moves left, then it starts dropping down the ones that are stuck on the screen, and you can see your score dramatically change. Okay, we just got a few left. I just got to drop these last ones. Well, that's not that surprising that 4380, the TI got to 4350 mine. Okay. And it looks like it remembered the last few games. Who won who? Who won what? Okay, that was fruity. Now the next one coming up was quite an eye opener for me. I had thought I had seen this somewhere before, and it turns out I did. Quest. Yeah. Okay. We'll select another cartridge here. Mm. Let me see what it was called. It's called Moonbase Alpha. Let's see, it was on C. All right, here is Moonbase Alpha. See, it was originally in 1984 called Beneath the Stars. And the select keys, again, I would recommend going with the default keys that they have. Give me a second here and I'll write this down. Because this gets a little complicated. The left laser, the right laser, the thruster, fire the laser. E for thruster. Okay, now you're getting your right hand. Fire laser, repair droid left, repair droid right, a missile, so K and L, and fire the cannon. And so then we can press number 5 to start the game. And that's about how my games usually go. We'll try that again. Was it left, right, fire laser? Oops. Shot the floor away there. So that's about how video games usually go for me. That's Moonbase Alpha. Oops. Select RXB again. Call unmount 1. Now that was a cartridge version of what was called Beneath the Stars. Again, ah, gotta do a call files 1. Because notice this is a 51 sector program. Usually anything that big that's extended basic is what, IV254. So we did a call files 1. So the previous thing we ran, Moonbase Alpha there, was a cartridge file format. And this is a basic only program file. So we're running in the extended basic environment, but you're going to see a big difference in the speed that this runs in. So here again, we go with Intrigue Software Presents Beneath the Stars. Credit screen. I didn't touch anything. It just okay, which base I want to use? Thruster. Okay. Got our screen back. Press 5 and start the game. So here it is, the same game, but we're running this in basic rather than as a cartridge. There we go. Uh-oh. I guess that's the force field they're shooting up. Okay. So as you can see, there's a big difference there in speed between running that in basic or running that in a cartridge. Nuts. I really didn't want to delete that. Let's get back again to RXB. This one was at BTS. Okay, we'll just load that directly because I don't want to run that. This drive light's blinking. Let's list the program. So if you want to play with the program, here it is. Here it is in BASIC. Look at 19. That must be the statement for the keys you use. SDEKQWOLP for like left, right, thrust, laser, neutron cannon. And yeah, you got all the code here. I don't know the history of the cartridge version of that. But let's try looking at load a boot. And here we'll do a directory of disk 1. Go down to the README file, press V to view. And support our website, please, the TI Italian user group. And it gives the web address. You can download other stuff for the TI at databases section of the website. Guys, can you see all the screen, or did I zoom in too far on this?
You can zoom back out a little bit.
Yeah, I think every time you change sources, it kind of auto adjusts and
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it seems to
some
cut
of
the
it
edges
gets
off.
cropped.
Okay, how's that for top and bottom?
Much better.
Yeah, because I couldn't see the more command there at the bottom of the screen. I zoomed it in for that video we did. Oh, that was the end of the file. So the README really doesn't tell you much about the game itself or how to run it. Okay, moving on. So this is Adventure Mania. Let's just try running this. See if we got to do the call files one. Yeah, we do. There is a way in RXB where you can load in a very large basic only program, and you can save it as an extended basic program, the IV254 format. Then it just loads in just fine. Okay, again, Intrigue Software presents Adventure Mania. Let me get my notes here on this one while it's loading. Oh, we did this one already. I'm sorry. I'm trying to find... Okay, it was on a different disk here. Guys. Let me make sure I get the right run here. Oop. Look here, Quest X. It's only 44 sectors. Let's see if we can actually load that one. It is working. It is loading here. This is a big graphical type text adventure game. I think the 56 seconds is telling you that that's how long it takes to set this up and for it to run. And it tells you what keys are valid here. In this is north, south, east, west, and I for inventory. Ah, there we go. So now it draws the map of the world. And you should be seeing at the bottom of the screen, it says, "What now, sire?" So our icon is the solid black square in the upper right. And I will try moving west. What now, sire? You're in the wilderness, tower near. Okay, well, I'll try going west again. You're in the wilderness, a city is near, and a tower is near. If we go west again, you're in the city, leave by or inventory. I'll press I for inventory. Okay, so this is a typical adventure type fantasy world. You have leather, you have chainmail, you have a crossbow, you have rations, and you have gold coins. Total weight is 391 pounds. 10 men can carry 1,000. Oh, so I guess you're with a hunting party. That is why you can have 6 leather armor and 2 chainmails. So do we want to sell anything? How much gold coins do we have? We could sell item number 8. That's inventory again. Thought I sold, let's sell number 8 again. Let's see now, according to this, we have 6 of them. It still has 6. I wonder why I can't sell anything. Sell, no. Buy, yeah. Oh, I guess that was the store. Let's inventory that again. Gosh, now I'm confused again. I can't seem to leave, sell or buy anything here. Here you say you want to buy something, and it takes away the screen that says what the number is. I guess this program needs a little work. Sorry, guys. The Intrigue software appears to be a bit of a dud. I'm sorry to say that it's not intuitive. You can't seem to easily play the game. Sorry. Okay, this is a disk from the archives called the Maxi XB pack. So I guess these are all extended basics. Let's try load. Oh, okay. So Maxi XB, if you just have extended basic and you tell it to load, or just select extended basic, it'll automatically pick up load. Backgammon, Basements and Beasties, Beetle, Cat Rider, Civil Engineering, Cockpit, Texas Instruments. I wonder what that is. Let's see what Texas Instruments says. Loading off the disk, initializing. It is doing something. Nice graphical demo. Oh, okay. Who knows they're Dutch? Wonder what this means. All right. Now this is in Dutch, and I don't understand it. Okay, now I'll try to do a demonstration of the program Remind Me. This is a nice calendar program for the TI. Can load an extended basic, or you can load it in Editor Assembler. This is your main works introduction screen. Remind Me version 1, 1987 by John A. Johnson, distributed by Genial Computerware. And it says, what date do I want to load? 0188. Gosh, I can't believe it's that long since this particular program is run. 1998 from disk 1. Okay. So this is Friday, January 15th, 1988. There doesn't appear to be any data on this particular date, but we can press C to configure the printer. What printer do we want to output this to? The printer reset codes, the vertical, horizontal, text color, screen color. So if we go to text color and screen color, there we go. There we go with our familiar white on dark blue. Default drive, disk drive 1. And default date. Let's try 2021. Change defaults. Function 9 to escape. Save to drive 1. Okay. So let's go to today's date. We'll press enter. Okay, now by pressing enter and having the cursor on a date, that opens up this box that's a note card. So we can put in CTIUG. And we could press function 9 to escape again. Ah, there you go. Now you see on date 9, there's a dot there. Tells you something's there. So you can go there and you can press enter and there's our date. Say like we have to go do something else here. Move the cursor to the 15th. Function 9. And there. Now you have two things. Now you press S to save and it saved it to disk 1. Press B for buy, B to quit, A again. Oops, need caps. Okay, so we have 1 of 1988, 12. I thought we would have saved that one. Load month 1 from disk 1. Oh, nuts. Didn't do it. I don't know why. Well, I guess it's a TI club meeting. Darn. I'm batting a 0 today. C to config. Yeah. Default drive, default date. All right. Well, we'll try it again. S to save. Should have saved it. Load 1. Ah, yeah, there it goes. All right. So we've loaded it. Let's try this again. Press enter. Press function 9. Maybe I didn't save it. S to save. Says it's saved. The only thing we don't have here is, hold the load, is we don't have a directory on this of what files are on that. If you manually catalog it, there's the days 01 1998, 1988, 2021. So I guess we have to remember these or write them down. I wonder what I was doing 10 of 2017. Okay, I don't have anything saved for Sunday, October 15th, but function S and D moves your highlighter left and right, and up and down. E and X moves it up and down. Function 9, save it. Okay, now we can try loading again. Okay, here's our previous one. Here's today, this month, and we'll load that. Okay, that's it. We got a meeting. 10-2017. This one. There we are. Press enter. Learn to type. So any questions on this one? Again, this is remind me. This was hot when it first came out. Everybody went nuts because this is a great way of using your TI to schedule your appointments, note taking. Hal?
Oops.
You probably remember the history of remind me better than I do.
Well, I'm not sure I do. And for some reason, camera's not working here. I've been having a lot of technical problems during this. Oh, there we go. Finally, I've I plugged in the headset when you were doing the first recording of the fellow from YouTube, and it knocked me off the meetup. It went it shot over to Google for some reason, and wanted me to join a different meeting. So I had to fight my way back, turning everything off. And eventually I went over to check the sound quality on my wife's iPad, and it was much better than the sound quality on my iPad for some reason. But yeah, Remind Me was a very popular program. There were a couple of different versions, if I remember, of a similar type of program. Remember the different ones that came out?
No, I know there were database programs that came out. TI Base, TI Sort, TI Calc. A lot of stuff was coming out at the that era. DiskU, Archiver. A lot of stuff was coming out right at that time.
Oh yeah. There were a number of the database programs. There was I can't even begin to remember all of them. I know that Futura Base was one that we listed the membership on. Still have a copy of that. In fact, I still have a copy of the old membership list from oh God, more than 30 years ago now. It was very interesting in that it scrolled across. You could press one key, everything would scroll across. But in terms of programs to remind you, it seemed to me there was something else. There was another program, and the names, the old gray cells aren't working today, but there were some other programs of the similar nature that I think Bruce Harrison had one, if I'm not mistaken, that also worked as a reminder. um, program, and you could put different information in there, um, and it would when you turned on the computer, as I recall, it would, if it was in the disk drive, it would automatically pop up and show you. Now with Remind Me, you have to actually run the program, right? Vic?
I have to go to my library of Harrison software. I got together in one spot, although I don't have it in a loose leaf binder yet. Bruce, I remember primarily for his MIDI music accomplishments. His partner Dolores Worth, with her uh, Middle Ages type music that she had compiled on MIDI. Bruce
Yeah,
and Mike,
Renaissance and before.
yeah,
Um, well,
yeah, Bruce
Bruce,
and Mike McSimic had done MIDI album to where you needed a supercart, editor assembler plus 8K, but then you could string together a whole bunch of MIDI songs with MIDI album.
actually, that was I think that was Bruce, and it took a long time for Mike to release the source code, I guess, to Bruce and to others, and then there was a program originally. What they wanted to do, what Mike wanted to do, was it to have a program that would also print out the sheet music. And that didn't come along until someone in Canada, and I've still got a copy of that, came up with a program that would do that. And then the idea was to combine the program so that you could enter it in symbolic note format, SNF, and then it would then print the music as well as play it. And actually, the limitations on the TI were the problem. Mike wrote MIDI Master, then didn't do anything with it for a while. Then Bruce got permission to create MIDI Album, which took all of the different amounts of music you could write and concatenated them so that they played seamlessly. And that was a big step forward. Had that come out at the same time as MIDI Master, I think a lot more people would have stayed with that program. But there was such a gap in there that by the time MIDI Album came out, Bruce produced that, a lot of people had left the TI. But I know that it was extremely popular with a number of people who were musicians, and being able to, instead of having to type in the notes in SNF, when the program came out and you could actually just play it on a keyboard and then have it recorded in SNF and then saved and played back, it was an amazing development, and it really moved everything forward. Now I'm not a musician, but I know that some of the people who were rejoiced when they could just simply sit down, play something. If they made a mistake, they could then erase it, play it again, or they could go back into the program and type in the correct notes, which I wish I could do that. If I'm in a couple of groups that sing, and I wish that I could, and I can't sing worth a darn, but it would be fun to be able to correct my own bad notes, false notes. I know there are programs that can do that sort of thing if you have a sound studio or whatever. But at any rate, there's a tremendous amount of stuff. And by the way, Bruce used to send me demo copies of everything he wrote, and he would quite often send me 2 or 3 in a week, sequentially getting better and better and better. And one of these days, maybe we can demo all those programs.
Oh, actually, I have quite a good library of the MIDI music that Bruce released, as well as the basic extended basic music files that he released. I'm sure you remember the Civil War marches.
Yeah.
He was glad about that. He had found a whole box of march music dating back to the era of the Civil War, and he says this stuff probably doesn't know what side played it, but he said this is music that probably hasn't been played since.
Yeah.
And it was all march music, and people said, "Oh, you can't do certain short notes on a TI,"
Yep.
and he did it anyway.
Oh yeah, he was able to do a 64th note if I remember
Mhm.
correctly.
Yeah.
And he also he and Dolores found some music that had not been played in 200 years, and they recorded that and made that available. Some very interesting things, and it was a terrible loss to the community when Bruce died.
Yeah.
We've lost so many very talented people over the years, people who have contributed greatly and then untimely met their maker, and that that has tremendous loss to this community.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, I try to get stuff out on this. I like games even if I'm not good at them. But I am aware that various people got different interests. That's why I always try to run utilities. Like last month, show a sector editor. Here's how you fix a blown catalog on a floppy. Today it was remind me. So I know there are other serious things. You like the word processors. Um
yeah,
Mike Lunsford, we did a demo last year on his Supernotes Express, the cartridge that had the memory built in to where you could type in notes on it and it would save it. And yeah, the now that we're not traveling to a meeting, I might actually be able to break out my humongous Yamaha keyboard and run through MIDI Master again. Now that that is one thing that I don't have to bring to the library.
well, I can always bring my keyboard in when we do go
Mhm.
back to the library. Hopefully, one of these days, we'll all
We
get
get
vaccinated.
vaccinated
Yeah,
and then we can associate again.
Yeah, people start getting vaccinated, and the library actually permits people to meet in the meeting rooms again.
Hmm.
yeah. This week, I'm checking with Northwestern to find out what their tentative football schedule is this year.
Hmm.
Everything was just a total chaos, but because they said that they weren't going to play, and then they said they were going to play, and the library canceled us, and on the date that I had originally chosen, and then they decided that they would play on that date. So had the the fair at the library, we probably wouldn't have been able to get hotel rooms in the city uh, at the last minute. So, we can't control in our lives. Uh, we can control what we do. We can't control the weather. We can't control other people's actions. So I will hopefully reserve the date that we need it according to the football schedule, the tentative football schedule, because no one knows.
Yeah,
We all
sporting
make
events are going
plans,
to start
and
back
God
up.
knows.
Yeah.
You know. So, with any luck, we will get back to normal soon, and we will have the type of fair that I think people like to come to, where people get to see friends that they've known for years and years and years. Um, I know that we're disappointed this year because uh, while they could travel, they were then subject to quarantine when they went home and things like that.
Yeah.
And that it's in fact even today there's still people come in from Wisconsin or come in from Indiana or other places are still supposed to quarantine for 14 days. I don't know of anybody that actually does that, but I do know that those are the rules. And right now in Illinois, where we're all located, the bars are closed, restaurants are closed, You can pick stuff up and take it home, but you can't go in and sit down and eat anywhere. And this changes on an hourly basis, but at least on a weekly basis, depending upon what level of infection in a particular area exists. So
Yeah, the governor has been strictly following the numbers. He says if the numbers are this rate, then everybody has to do this. If the numbers of infections are higher, we go to a more secure level.
yeah,
And it's not like, well, I think we should be safer. I think we can loosen it up. No, he just has the numbers. Here's the amount of people in Illinois who got infected, and this is the level of quarantine we're going to.
yeah. Unfortunately, some restaurants are defying that ban and allowing people to come in and sit and eat. And the result of that, I can't quote any specifics here, but I'm sure that if everybody did that, the numbers would go up again because the contagion spreads by not just contact, but apparently also by through the air. And
By breathing.
by
The
breathing
virus hitches a ride on the moisture molecules that people exhale.
yeah, and
That's
if
why the masks work good. The mask catches most of them on the person that's wearing them. And then on the other person that's wearing them, it catches the rest of them. So they seem to work pretty good.
well,
I've seen people bitch like, oh, the virus is much smaller than what that mask can trap. Well, the viruses are very seldom ever free floating in the air. They're always sitting on moisture molecules.
until a jogger runs past you, I'm told they leave a trail.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
It's
Yeah. I was in a parking lot and I wear my mask before I get out of the car, and I don't take it off till after I'm in it. And I got out of my car, and sure enough, there was a guy right next to me, got out of his car and coughed, and then put his mask on.
Great.
yeah.
And I saw somebody else in the store coughing and coughing. They pull their masks, and then they put their mask back on again. It's like, oh well, you know.
Yeah, or the person that wears their mask just below their nose.
Oh yeah, since it harbors in your nose too.
Yeah, and I see people walking into stores and pulling the mask out after they're already in the store and putting it on.
Mm-hmm.
My cousin, the guy that got me into TI in the first place, and who may be watching right now,
Oh,
my cousin Bill, morbidly afraid. He deals with people every day. He deals with 100 people every day, and when someone comes into his store not wearing a mask, he gets furious and makes them go outside and put their mask on, and will not serve them if they're not wearing a mask.
seeing how stores are not a public space, they're private property. The store can have any rules they want.
Well,
It's like for a long time, why did grocery stores have shoes required in a grocery store?
Yeah.
What difference does it make if you're walking off the street with your shoe or with your foot? And a friend of mine explained it's because people drop glass bottles in stores, and even though they're careful, they might not have every little bit of glass swept up. And so it's not a hygiene issue, it's a safety issue.
Well, people don't like to look at other people's feet unless you're in a situation where, say, you're at
What
the
if you
beach
got
or something.
sandals on? 3 little tiny leather straps make that big of a difference?
Well, there's also the fact that if somebody stubs their toe or breaks a toe, say in the store, they'll sue. Whereas
Yeah.
and if you're
It's another safety issue.
it's all kinds of things, and the once upon a time back in the 60s, I can remember guys walking into stores with no shirt on and jeans, hanging off their fanny and long hair, and it just isn't very appetizing. Let's say a meal or when you're buying food or something. It's not just then, but I mean, if you're on the beach, that's an appropriate thing. People walk around in a swimsuit, and that's it. I sometimes sail without benefit of a lot of clothing, but I'm out on the middle of the lake, 10 miles away from the nearest boat, even 15 miles away from shore, maybe, and So I got a suntan on parts of my body that don't normally see a lot of sun. And but I wouldn't dream of walking into the yacht club like that.
Well, does the yacht club have a dress code that's like you can't wear a T-shirt? You have to wear a shirt with a collar on it.
Depends on the club. I can remember years ago, we were down at Burnham Park Yacht Club, and the Commodore's wife asked a basketball style shirt. He was a fireman. He had these huge, huge guns, you know, these huge, huge muscles. And I don't know if she was turned on by that or what, but she the steward to come over and ask him to put a jacket on, not you know, just a leather and a plastic nylon jacket, and he was going to go over and say something to her, and I told him I didn't think that was, since we were guests there, that was not our club any longer.
Yeah, yeah.
We used
But
to
I've
belong to
seen
that
it
club back
various,
in the 50s.
I've seen
Yeah.
various restaurants as to the type. Like I said, some people said, "Oh, so the problem is I don't have a T-shirt that has the alligator on it," or they said, "No, you have to have a shirt with a collar, not an open neck shirt." And the same thing is you have to have a shirt that has sleeves that come down to almost the way to your elbow. You can't wear the athletic style shirt,
Mm.
and so on and so forth. But we digress from the TI community here.
Yeah. I
If you
think
want
that's-
to sign off, I've got our
well, we still have some time. We have
Oh.
some time. Let me
Yeah,
talk
if you've
briefly
got
about
something else you'd like to talk about or show off.
the okay. Well, we can go through. Let me go through the final ground. The cartridge library has been increasing. D2021. There's a cartridge version of Fruity here, and one called Phoenix. Okay, you should be seeing that. And this is a cartridge. Nuts. I forget where I got this. I got this in the past month online from either the Italian user group or someplace else. Press fire to begin. I know how that goes. Okay, not that stick. You know, most of these games they use joystick 1 to play. Some of them actually use joystick number 2, I guess, to try to balance out the wear on your sticks. Okay, that's how the game usually works for me. Looks like Galaga a lot. Let me turn the sound down a bit and try that again. Okay, joystick 2 doesn't work for. Oh, okay, joystick 1. So it sounds like the Eurythmics Sweet Dreams were made of these. Okay, that's Phoenix. Son of Pete.
Someday,
Oh, go ahead.
someday you're going to have to demonstrate my favorite game, Zero Zap. Um, it's the only game I know of that I can have any fun with because I don't have to do anything except press the button and one time, and that's enough for me.
Surprise. Let me see if I can find it here. No, I don't have any games with the letter Z in them, apparently, on this. I thought we had...
Well,
those are all
that's
the games
okay.
that are...
That's okay. We'll have to do it when we have a lot of time to play because so that once it went up, once the ball went up, it couldn't get out again, and that made it a lot easier to play for me. I'm not a gamer, you know that.
Hey, here's one of our favorite ones, the TI One-Armed Bandit. This one has some nice sound, nice animation to it. Okay, Zero Zap, though. Thought we had it here somewhere. Let me see. In B, select the letter B here. Oh, Video Vegas. Letter C. Letter D. Letter E. Oh, Wing World. That's a rare one. I think I know where it might be.
Oh no, don't worry about it now. We'll do it at a later date. Sometime we have 2 hours to play with it. No, just kidding. Do a different demo. We've got we've still got about 20 minutes before we have to shut down.
Sure. TI Scramble, Titanium, Super Mario Brothers. Yeah, I remember a couple years ago I was going nuts on trying to get stuff to play, and it turned out it was because I was using a outdated version of firmware for the F-18. And if you remember that, we couldn't get the Saint Nick game. Couldn't get a lot of stuff to run.
Is Titanium one of these Pong-like games? I don't remember exactly.
No, Titanium was I think it was by Rasmus Musgard, and it was a
It's on there somewhere. Or TI Pong. Let's try TI Pong. That's
sure.
always fun.
Unfortunately, some of these bin files on this card don't work, and I've been in a this seems to be one of them. And yeah, this is one of them. Some of these games you have to go back to the main color bar screen here and load them again. So where were we? We're looking for Titanium, right?
Or Pong. I remember when the original Pong came out as an arcade game way back in the 70s. I spent I spent a lot of quarters, actually marks, because I was in Germany at the time playing that game. Oh, this looks good.
Yeah. So you notice there the fourth line down, it says F18 mode. Will automatically pick up if you have an F18 and go to a higher graphics resolution. So press the fire button. Okay, I'm controlling this little ship here on the bottom. I can press down and see how it casts a shadow. Casts a shadow there. So you want to shoot all the everything you can. Okay, so you're flying some distance above this giant spaceship. Let's get that. There we go. Got that one. Okay, those red things are like space mines. They're actually floating up in the air. And yeah, that interceptor got me there. Yeah, so you can't hit those red things because that's the shadow they're casting. It's like good old outer space shoot 'em up. Yeah, the only thing that vexes me is things like those red barriers there. You can run into them, but your opponents don't seem to ever run into them. The same thing if there's a missile base that shoots at you, the bullets go right through your opponents. Let's flip around and go the other way. Yeah, the bullets seem to go right through your opponents.
Stephen was asking whether or not you can shoot the red things.
No, you can't. Those are obstacles. Those are like floating. Those are like floating space mines. So you run into it. That's their shadow they're casting. To answer your question, yeah, you can shoot them. It just doesn't do anything. Oops. Yeah, Rasmus came up with an S load of games. Titanium was one of them. That one meeting, Owen Brand was there, and we were trying to play Eric, and it just wouldn't play for squat. And it turned out it was no problem with the game. It was the old F18 firmware. Okay, so this is Eric, and he can run across the field, duck when the bat comes. Fire button, you can jump. And I ran into the fire. So that's like a campfire there. Ran into it again. Duck. Oop, didn't quite clear that one. I think I've cleared this screen once. I think this is a good use for a a Raspberry Pi, to where you program it with delays, and then you have it output at certain times. Run, jump, duck, fire, and you have it output its commands into the joystick port. And I think that's probably the only way I would actually be able to play some of these
You
games.
can actually program another computer to play it for you.
Right, right. Okay, yeah, we had the cartridge version of Fruity. We did Phoenix. DM2K 3.0. It's a utility. And okay, 1506. So this must have come out in the middle of last year, by Fred Call, master programmer. Editing, browsing, cursor up, down, H for next page. Notice he's got 3 pages of help text now. Function 0, input path, enter, go into the directory, copy, move,
Do we
delete.
have an option to dump it to a printer?
Did we lose Vic?
It seems like that. He's, his display is still up, but we don't hear him.
I don't see him either. That's a little disturbing. I think he may have, it says Victor left.
Yeah, it looks like he lost his connection, perhaps. So we'll wait a few minutes and see if he comes back.
Yeah, but that would seem only reasonable, really polite. There are so many programs that we have had in this community that I haven't seen in a long time, and it's easy to forget sometimes just how many different games and how many different utilities there were out there. We need to, while I'm thinking about this, let me mention this. Received an offer from Mike Mickelson, who is the president of the Windy City TI group. And he's offered us his collection of magazines and Micropenia, etc. And so I said that I would take those on behalf of the group. If anyone would like to take a look at all that stuff, I'll be more than happy to pick it up and deliver it to somebody. Jim, would you be interested in something like that?
I might be interested in some of that. I'd be interested in maybe trying to archive any public domain collections or discs of the month sort of thing from other user groups, newsletters.
Yeah.
And since I've never really had the opportunity to actually peruse the micropeniums, I'd probably be interested in seeing some of those.
Okay. Well, then I'll get in touch with him and try to arrange a time when, he sent, I'll forward.
He sent an email to the group email address, and I've chatted with him. Yeah, so I can reply to him. I just haven't had the chance to.
Okay. You've seen
copy
the
you
picture
in.
of what's there then, right?
What's that?
Picture? You've seen the picture of what's there?
No, I don't think he shared the picture with me unless it's in the email he sent as an attachment.
I'll forward that to you. And
Okay.
He's got a stack of about 10 P boxes, and I think he's offering those for sale. But the magazines, the newsletters, the Micropedia, then we can take all that and keep that in the
Distribute
community.
it, yeah.
Yeah. I have a number of machines and 99ers and things like that. If you want to take a look at some of that as well.
Sure.
We also have a bunch of the programs from Mycopendium, and maybe we can do a demo on that when we get a real steel back, and I'll bring them in and we'll do some demos of those. Vic, are you back?
Yeah,
Vic's back.
yeah. Apparently, I didn't move the mouse for 20 minutes or something like that.
And it went to sleep on you, huh?
Yeah, it went to sleep on me.
Yeah.
So going back to what we were doing, here we are. We've got the Fred calls DM2K, and here I loaded up disc 1, and here we can go to 12/2017. Remember, volume name of disc 1 is currently Remind Me. So here's the deviated data file. Now if I press T, this is nice. Okay, it's just a text file. There's the 2 items that we had in there. For the 9th and or for the 1 item we had. Control E, Control X. So Control X, Control E. No, that's it. Q to quit. But here, if I press Control T, now we're in 80 column mode. So this is nice that he put that in, that you can go to 80 column for reading a text file rather than so we can actually go down here to the source code, Control T, and okay, here, documented source code on reminders. This program's work with files. Oh, this is a different program. It looks at today's date from the system clock. That looks for a file by that name on the path specified. That prints out all reminders. Oh, so that's nice. So you don't have to manually go into Remind Me. You could use this reminders program.
Yeah, that was what I was referring to earlier. I thought that there was a separate version that was automatic when you turned on the computer, if I remember correctly, and I may be mistaken, but
Well, we can try to run that. Here, let me quit this.
that's 7 minutes left. Perhaps that would be a good demo for next time.
I can usually do it in 7 minutes. Whoop. If I remember to have the caps lock. No. Okay. Well, I guess you're right. I'm going to have to play with this one. Because it didn't automatically work just fine. So let's just load our goodbye message. We're going to run a different flag today. We're going to do the stars and stripes. The flag I had is the 48 star flag, even though it plays the national anthem nice. I don't like running just a 48 star flag. And there's this other program that shows the 50 star flag, but it plays a different song. So we're going to go with the correct 50 star flag. What I'll eventually do is I'll try to get the music from the first program, the national anthem, onto this program that has the 50-star
Proper
flag.
flag.
Well, 50 stars is hard to program on the TI.
Yeah, I can imagine.
So we always log off with a farewell. And this song, I believe it loops. There's no way of knowing when it's over. But this author has managed to make a nice 5-point star rather than an asterisk, and has the correct 50 stars on it.
Hmm.
Now, after running our Tiger Cub Nuts and Bolts demo last month, maybe we could put some sprites in here and animate this flag and have it wave.
God.
I think that's a task for the demo sceners.
Well, in assembly, you could probably get it down to like 3 commands. The music is nice on this one. Yeah, next month I'll see if I can get the MIDI master fired up. I'll get my keyboard. Gosh, I'd like to find a tiny MIDI keyboard, but everything that's tiny seems to be a MIDI controller for a computer
Yeah,
with a USB connector, not an honest to God 5-pin MIDI connector.
right. And the ones that do are often expensive.
Mhm.
You know, the small form factor actual MIDI keyboards
Mhm.
have become kind of pricey if you can find one.
Yeah, a lot of stuff's gotten real cheap because it's obsolete. It's like a MIDI
Right.
connector. What do you got that for? I want a USB connector.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'll be signing off. And yeah, this was fun. I just wish more of these programs worked out of the box rather than having to experiment with them and stuff like that. And this is pretty much the only time I get to experiment with these video adapters on, what size screen, trying to get the whole TI screen to show up on Google because it wants to go to widescreen format, not the narrow screen format.
I'm pretty good this month. There's a couple of times where it was zoomed in a little bit, but it was good.
Yeah, that was after I zoomed it in for those YouTube videos to try to make them a little bigger, and then I forgot to zoom it back out once we got back into TI mode. But I guess I got my work cut out for me next month.
Yeah.
I'll see you later, guys.
Okay.
All right.
Take care. Thanks,
Okay,
everybody.
are we signing off?
Yeah, we'll stop.
Yeah, I think we're signing off.
Well, maybe we should sing MICKEY LOUSE. See you next
Well,
time.
thanks for everyone that is watching or will watch.
Yeah. I guess we're right at the 4 o'clock sign off time. So if everybody will please come back and visit us next month, we'll be pleased. And by the way, just like they say on all the sailing videos, please subscribe, hit the bell. And if there's anybody out there that would like to be our Patreon, by all means, send
Yeah,
us
except of
money.
course we don't have a Patreon account.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's too bad. Just send cash then. Just
Yeah,
send
Stuff
cash.
some cash in an envelope and mail it somewhere.
That's it. Just send it us. Just send it to us, and or bring it with you when you come to the fair. That's the most
Yeah.
important.
Yeah,
thing.
that's probably the most important thing. Make a
Yeah.
contribution
Yeah.
at the fair.
Yes,
When
again,
we have the next one.
I will personally hand deliver a floppy disk of all the programs demonstrated anywhere in the world for $1 million. And get the second disc of equal or lesser value for only $500,000.
You're supposed to say, but wait, there's more.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Are we off the air then, John?